was about to sell whatever modules I didn't need, and all of a sudden this pulse engine module goes for like 2,258. Hello there, my name is Rampant Mystic, and welcome back to No Man's Sky. And on this episode, I have been meaning to do this for kind of a while. So we did actually make this gold and silver farm, and we are going to be turning it into a nanite cluster farm. Now, in theory, I did actually say how we're going to do it, but today we're actually going to be doing it in practice. So I do have 1,000 on me, well 10,000 on me of gold and silver, and we have at least 40,000 here more. Now, we are limited by the amount of refiners we can place. We can only place 3 medium and 2 large ones, so we're going to be doing 50,000 at a time. 50,000, 10,000 gold and 10,000 silver will take around 20-ish minutes to transform into 10,000 platinum. Now, I will be running a timer on my phone, and this will all be cut. You will not sit through 20 minutes of this, don't worry. But this is not going to be the only method we're going to be doing. So there's a couple of other methods for actually gaining nanite clusters that I would like to explore today, see how viable they are, if they are better than this, and which one, in my opinion, would take you the least amount of time and effort. Now, this method, first of all, I have actually explained what we need to do in previous episodes. So you basically need to have a gold and a silver farm. You can build it as big as you want. Like we currently have 31,000. That is how much we have of silver as well in the supply depots, and they're all linked to a storage container, which is number 9 for me personally. But this takes a lot of effort initially. You're going to need to find a silver and a gold base. You're going to need to build them up. You're going to need to build up extractors. And this depends on the amount of extractors and supply depots you have. So basically, if I was gathering up, let's say, 200,000 every 12 hours, I would be getting a lot of nanite clusters. Of course, that would mean I would have to fill these up. Now, these do take time. These do take like around 20-ish minutes to actually fill up, to actually fully process everything. Oh, then I can only put into 2,500. So this is going to take, oh, wow, yeah, that's going to take a little bit. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's going to take a long time. A very, very long time. Now, you can do this while offline, but I would not suggest it because things have been known to vanish from these refiners. For now, though, I will see y'all when all of this is actually done. We have 50,000 plus to actually go through, so let's go through them. Oh my god, this took 25 minutes for just the first batch of 10,000. So, I was initially going to do all this, but that's going to take me the better part of 2 hours, and honestly I don't really mind, but it's just a lot of waiting around. So what I'm gonna do is we're actually gonna be continuing. Oh, there's one left here. That's fine. That's more than fine. You know what? Place it over there. So what we're actually gonna do is we have 10,000, right? Let's see where'd they go. They're not in the starship. There they are, 10,000. Now this is kind of apparently now a slow method, but it is kind of quick to generate the amount of nanite clusters. So that's only like a minute-ish to generate the nanite clusters, but the total time it's going to take you is more or less around 26-27 minutes, because again, you're going to have to go around and do all of this, and that is per batch. Now, do keep in mind this is modded, and in fact I used to have it modded before to 10,000 in these, and the speed was a lot faster. Now, of course, if you can somehow get a lot more refiners, this will go a lot quicker. Like, for example, here, if I had 20 refiners, this would have been easy, but I don't. So we're going to be continuing on with the second method, and the second method is cooking. And for that, we're going to need to gather up a couple of materials. So we're going to be going for 2 recipes here, a tier 5 recipe and a tier 3 recipe, I believe. Now, these recipes, of course, I'm not the one to discover them. It is all thanks to Zane's World, and there is actually a very, very good spreadsheet on Zane's site, which you can look up all the recipes in. That's what I did. I've actually found 2 recipes that I want to try, and we're going to be building 100 of each once we do gather the materials, and we're going to be doing that right now, and then we're going to be giving them to Iteration Cronus to actually see which one will earn us a bigger profit. And of course, this would as well involve, a a little bit of a test, because one is a little bit harder to make, well, a lot harder to make, and the other one is very, very easy to make, to see which one will actually benefit us most. So let's get on with the first one. Well, the first thing we're gonna need is some heptapod weed. Well, a lot of heptapod weed. Let's see how much flour we can get out of it. Now, both recipes do use flour. Okay, so this is the second plant I've got. Oh boy. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna need around about 200 heptapod wheat. Yeah, well, technically you can do this with as much as you want, but this is just, you know, my way. Of course, you can always get heptapod wheat on your travels, little by little, and eventually it'll be a big amount, and you can just go and do what I'm doing. But yes, for now, we're going to be continuing farming. Well, I'm going to be continuing farming heptapod wheat, and there's an unknown grave over there. We're not going to go check it out, but yes, first thing we're going to do is we need to get a bunch of heptapod wheat. So I'm going to say around 100, maybe 200, we'll see. And then on to the next step. Alrighty, so the second thing we're going to want to do is actually find some animals to milk. Now, you can actually skip this step if you would rather kill animals. Now, this is what I'm going to say. I would just rather go with the farm. So we're going to be making a base here. Now, I was lucky enough on this planet to have a nice group of animals where I can actually set up a base. And we're going to be basically setting up a milk farm with, feeders and livestock units. Well, one feeder, one livestock unit. And we're going to be basically waiting around for a little bit of milk. Well, a lot of milk. But yes, this is basically a waiting game. This is something that I would suggest you do, just along the way. Not something that you will do like right now. I have actually found some creatures that will give me milk. And of course, it's nighttime, so nothing's going to work now. And I do actually need to find some polyfiber. So I'm going to be back in a little bit when the farm is actually set up. Ha! Bet you've never landed on a trading outpost like that now, have you? Look at that. I have no idea how this happened. As you can see, I've actually set up everything now. The thing is that we're getting different animals. They're not like last time. We're getting the ones that give eggs now. Yeah. Well, I'm going to let this run for, I don't know, 15 minutes. And, yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, the animals that I do want actually spawn nearby. Now, you do have to be here in the area, like you have to be within visual range as far as I'm aware for these to work, so they won't just, work while you're offline. So basically that's why I have the shelter here. I'm basically going to be hiding here and AFKing, so I'll see y'all in like 20 minutes. Alrighty, so it has been around 10-ish minutes since I actually did go and gather up a bunch of animals. Well, most of them are apparently left. Oh, okay, nope, don't want to ride. But I did actually gather up a bunch of animals that actually do produce milk, because I got tired of waiting, and build a feeder specifically for them. And yeah, we have more than enough milk. So you can either go with wild or fresh, it doesn't really matter. But yes, I'm going to be picking up all these because, well, we earned them technically. Now, I will be taking one of these back because I'm sort of shy on resources, and I do need only one of them. And of course, we're going to be leaving only 2 here. We're going to leave everything else in our inventory. Now, this is still, of course, going to be our milk farm, but we need to go to our second step. So we're going to need to find worm proto milk. Now, that is a gatherable resource from a very, very... Apparently, this is coming off of the No Man's Sky Gamepedia, by the way, because I've never met the resource. It is, again, a gatherable resource from a very specific creature. Now, the ones that walk on 2 feet, the ones that normally, when they shake the ground, I go like, oh, what's shaking the ground? Yeah, those ones. So we're going to need to find a planet with specifically them, and we're going to be needing to tame them. So that is going to be the next step. Now, that's probably going to be the hardest step. This is, again, this is one of the harder recipes to do, but I do want to see how much it actually bags us. And afterwards, we're going to be doing, I believe, bread. I believe bread is a very, very simple recipe. It's just basically heptapod wheat. That's it, I believe, if I recall correctly from the recipes. And we're going to see, it is a tier 3 recipe. We're going to see how much it earns us. Now, I know that a tier 1 and tier 2 recipes don't really earn you that much. So we're going to see. The reason I settled for tier 3 is because it's really, really, really easy to build. You don't really need anything. While the tier 5 one, Most of the tier 5 ones, at least, are really hard. They take a lot of resources, a lot of harming. There is one with, I believe, hypnotic eyes, just like 2 hypnotic eyes, which, you know, is just soup. And we could have done that. That is entirely true. I don't know why I decided for this. But yeah, it's too late now, so let's go find those animals. Alrighty, so I did actually remember that in our previous base, the one that we gave up on, which is on the planet Stormfront, if you recall this beautiful world, we did actually see some of these. So these are the ones that give you the warm proto milk. There it is, and in fact, it gave me a batch of 3. So I don't really care that the Sentinel's attacking me. We did find one. Which means we're gonna need to actually find more than one, which could be an issue. But these aren't that difficult to find. They're kind of... Oh, there they are. Would you look at them? Would you look at them over there? So we're basically gonna gather them up in one place, and we're gonna set up a feeder and a livestock unit. And as soon as I have, let's say 50 to 100, I'll be back. Look at how many there are. So they do run around when they're happy, but they will follow you as long as you're relatively slow. As long as you don't run, don't sprint, you should be fine. Now that one's stuck. There's nothing we can do about it. But as long as I can get a couple of them over there to the livestock unit, I mean, probably should have set it up here. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Well, so we're sort of done. Now, I was going to continue this. Like, this took me less than 10 minutes, by the way, with the amount we had. But sadly, most of them ran away because they do tend to run a lot. So they ended up, like, all over the place. And, well, this is basically the time that I had to stop. So we're going to be taking what we have. And, of course, I'm going to be demolishing all this because I'm not really going to need it anymore. I will put the live feeder... actually don't take all of it. I take some of it. So yes, I got all my resources back. So we're basically going to go back to our cooking station and we're going to cook up a lot of materials. I'll see you in a little bit. Alrighty, so we're back here at our kitchen and it is time that we pretended as though we joined the Great British Bake Off, and it is time we started cooking. So the first thing we're going to have to do is I do have 3 nutrient dispensers I'm going to need. I'm going to use them. So, well, this is our last feast. Oh, okay, not our last feast, but we do need 50 wild yeast because we're going to be making 50 bread and we're going to be making 50 pies, because I don't recall what the pies were called, but they are pies. The next thing we're going to do is all of our wheat does need to be transferred into flour, so that's going to take a little bit. And the third thing we're going to do is our warm proto milk. So we're only going to need 50 of it, so I'm going to go down to 50. Alright, warm proto milk makes proto cream, and proto cream should make proto butter, out of which we can actually make the pastry. Now, let's actually not forget about the milk we gathered. We're going to need to make the milk into cream. So I'm going to use the milk I did actually store here. There it is, fresh milk. We're going to use the fresh milk. It's absolutely fine. And, oh, okay. I needed only 50, but sure. It's not allowing me to transfer them in specific amounts. We're going to need cream for this recipe as well. So 4 nutrient paste dispensers are more than enough. And now it's just a waiting game for everything to finish. And then we're going to combine stuff. Now that all of our resources here have actually completed. Sorry, I'm just in the wrong tool. I was... oh, wait, this hasn't actually finished. Oh. Well, that's fine. I mean, I do need to split it in 50s anyway. It needs to be half and then half. So I guess we can start doing one of them. That, and this should be done as well. So cream is exactly what we need. So this one can just go back into our inventory. Okay. So first, we are actually going to make dough. So dough is just wild yeast and refined flour. And with dough, we're going to be making bread. So this is step number 2 for the tier 3 recipe. This is the easier recipe. And the harder one is still making. In the making. Alright, so one step I actually forgot is we do need to turn the proto cream into proto butter, because that's actually what we'll be needing. I sort of forgot about that. But yeah, we do need proto butter for that. And proto butter and refined flour do make the pastry we're going to need for the crust. So our flour here is done, and our dough is actually almost done. So as soon as our dough is done, it's just dough to make bread and nothing else. So it is done right now. Okay, good. And we just place it back in. It's going to take another 4 minutes to make 50 pieces of bread. And after this is done, and after we're done with the tier 5 recipe, which is going to take at least another like 10-ish minutes, because I forgot about the proto butter part. Yes. I'm forgetful. I really should write things down, but I'm a bit too lazy. For now, though, I'll see you all in 4 minutes. Alrighty, so now that we have the proto butter, we can now make pastry. Now with pastry, we'll be making a pie crust. So there's a couple of more minutes to this. Of course, this takes a little bit longer. Again, this is a tier 5 pastry. It requires a lot of resources. As you saw, it requires a lot of farming. There is an easier way, again, to do a tier 5 pastry. Oh, not pastry, tier 5 recipe. It is with hypnotic eyes. Yeah, 2 hypnotic eyes, or I believe 1 hypnotic eye and meat. I believe meat chunks. I could be horribly wrong. I'm not really going to look it up right now. And it makes stew, which is a tier 5 recipe. But I chose to go with this because I just wanted to do this specific recipe. And I'm pretty sure that one tier 5 recipe is going to yield as many resources as a normal tier 5 recipe. So our bread is done, and we're just going to be waiting here on the, well, pie. Alrighty, our pastry is done, and I just need to remove the flour. And with our pastry, we're making a pie crust, so that's going to take another 4 minutes. Our pie cases have actually been done. And the pie cases, I noticed while looking at the screen for 4 minutes, they cost a lot. And they take a very long time to make. So to our pie cases, and I do know I'm calling it a pie crust because it is. We're going to be assembling a pie. Yes, indeed, it is going to be a creamy treat. You don't need to use cream, by the way, here. You can actually just kill animals and use leg meat, feline liver, or offal sack. And it'll still be pie here. It'll just be a different pie, but it's still going to be a tier 5 recipe. I went for this one because milk isn't too hard to get, to be honest. And I just wanted to make something a little bit more complicated, just so I never do it again. So we'll see in 4 minutes when this is done, and you know what, I'll see you all at the Nexus, and we'll then start doing calculations, which has earned us more. And now do keep in mind the tier 5 recipe takes a lot longer to actually make. That is a lot more steps, not just the time to actually make the materials, but the time it takes to actually farm the materials as well. So if it doesn't earn something like at least 10 times as much as the bread, it's probably not worth it. Okay, so we are here at Iteration Chronos now, and I just have the bread in my inventory. I placed the creamy treats here, and by the way, they're worth 3 million, which is wow. But yes, so we're starting off. Oh, wait a second. I know I wrote this down. I actually wrote this down so I don't forget. But we're starting at 14,570 nanite clusters, and we are going to be giving away 50 bread to Iteration Chronos, or the, as he was aptly named, the Gordon Ramsay of No Man's Sky. So we're going to be presenting. Oh, apparently I have offal sack and meaty chunks on me. No, I shouldn't. Those are actually way down in our base, but for some reason we can offer those. Anyway, we're going to be presenting the bread, and let's see the first one. How much is it? Splendid. Bread of my youth. And, ooh, 70. Hopefully it's always going to be 70. If it's always 70, then that makes my calculations a lot easier. Acceptable. Technically, this is bread. 110, so this one was 60, or it was 110, one of the two. But yes, you know what? I'm going to be fast forwarding here, and I'll meet you all after 50. So we have finally actually given away all the bread to Iteration Chronos over there, Master Chef Chronos. He was sort of not really pleased with our bread most of the time. Now, the lowest I've actually gotten was 0. Yes, straight up 0. Several times, actually, we got 0 nanite clusters. The most I've gotten, though, is 130. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that was cumulative or if it was for a single piece of bread. So I'm going to assume it was cumulative, and the most I've actually gotten is 80. So we started off at 5,000 and, well, 15,000 and something. I've already actually removed the number off my phone screen, but we ended up at 16,090. Now, that is a grand total of 1,520 made. Now, when I'm dividing this by 50 to get an average, we were averaging at 30 nanite clusters per bread, well, 30.4. to be a bit more precise. Now, the next one, though, I mean, the chef really wasn't pleased very much with our bread, but that is not really our speciality. So our speciality is pastry. Well, sweet pastry to be a bit more precise. So we're going to be turning in some sweet pastry now. So I've just actually turned in all 50 of the cream pastry into Chef over there. He was mostly pleased. Had a couple of bad things to say as always, but there were very few and very few. There were like a handful barely. He always gave me nanite clusters. There was not an occasion where he gave nothing. It was always a minimum of 40 and the maximum I still was 129. And that is the actual maximum. I did actually spend a little bit more time turning these in, waiting for everything to vanish off my screen so that I can actually do a proper test. So we started off at 16,090 nanite clusters and we ended up at 21,013. So that puts us at 4,923 total from the cream pastries. That is 5,000 for 50 cream pastries. They did take a little bit to actually get together though. So when divided by 50, that actually puts us at an average of 98.46. So let's say 100 nanite clusters per pastry, which is good. It's good, but which one is better? You have to actually decide for yourself. Are you going to invest a little bit more time and build a couple of farms so that you can farm up materials and build up the cream pastry? Or are you just going to go farm wheat and make it into dough and just make it into bread and just go that way? Just stay here for an hour. But we're going to be going to our third method. Now, personally, this is my favorite method of all of them. I did want to give this a try, even though 5,000 for our third method, that's a low amount, I think. But we're about to see, and you all can decide afterwards which method you'll like the most. So we're here on the station for two reasons. S-class vessels. Now, this does work with, well, B-class, C-class, and, well, any class of vessel, but we're looking for S-class vessels because they will give us the best bang for our buck, so to speak. Now, we are going to be making an offer on any S-class vessel we do see. Now, the best thing is exotic vessels, though. I want to just straight up buy them, not exchange, because my ship is very valuable. And what we're going to be doing is, I've actually done this several times now, in several different episodes, including on the Monday Weekend Warrior episode. It is just get it. Now, this is the same station, by the way, from Monday. Just get the ship and sell it, scrap it. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this doing in a nanite cluster episode? This is not a nanite cluster exploit. Well, that's not entirely true. It actually is. Because you get anywhere between 0 to like 3 of these S-class modules, and each one sells for roughly around 500. Now, they can sell for more, they can sell for less. But this, in my opinion, is the fastest way to actually get nanite clusters. Now, when you go to purchase, and when you just go to sell, not from the startup, 451. This one specifically sells for 451. Now, that does not mean that a shield will sell for less, for the same amount. It could sell for more. Now, the reason we want exotic vessels is because all exotic vessels are S-class. Now, you're probably saying, oh, Mr. Mystic, but you're playing modded. For you, it's very easy to get exotic vessels. That is entirely true. But it can be done on normal and survival as well. Now, the way it can be done is you're actually going to need to look for a system specifically that spawns exotic vessels. And you're going to need to fly to its station. Now, the reason I chose this specific system, this specific station, well, there's only one station in the system. But the reason I chose the system is because it has several types of exotic vessels for my game, for my mods. And I am basically getting exotic vessels very often, as you can see, and I got 2 modules from that. That's really nice. And of course, I am getting resources here to sell. Yeah. And you can do this with any class vessel. There it is, an A-class shuttle. Let's buy it. Now, you do need to have some capital in order to do this. You cannot just do it with no money. Like for example, this one costs, well, a lot less than the exotic one, but it still costs something. Now, let's go and sell it. There's an exotic one now. We're probably going to miss it, but it's fine. So the difference is that this one is not going to give you an S-class module, and S-class modules cost the most. That is the thing. Plus, you're getting an added benefit. This is giving me an A-class. This is actually giving me a lot of A-class modules, like 2 of them. There's an added benefit of storage augmentation. So we started with 3, and we're currently up to 9. Now, those are extremely expensive. Yes, indeed. So if a lot of your friends do play No Man's Sky, and you want to surprise them with basically free upgrades for their ship, well, you can actually gain a lot of them by selling exotic vessels. Even if only one exotic vessel shows up every 15 to 20 minutes, it's still a bargain. Because you're not just selling exotic vessels. Yes, you are losing a little bit of money. But hopefully you should be like me and have an Indian farm or any type of farm. Oh wow, we got a lot of stuff from that. You should have an Indian farm. And you should be able to have a lot of money. Now, again, this works with almost everything. This is the same vessel we sold like a minute ago. Oh, we scrap. We are technically not selling them. We are scrapping them. So let's actually turn in all of our, merchandise and see how much we're going to make out of that. Yeah, 900 from the pulse engine. Just saying, 900. 900 from the hyperdrive. Now, I actually do need some of these. But the A-class ones, as you can see, they're really cheap. That is why I said that it is better for just to have, S-class ones. It is just straight up better. So, I'm not really going to continue with this. You should actually have the general gist of everything by now. We are up to 10 storage augmentations. I started with 3, by the way, and that was just several ships being sold, and we're up to 10. Now, each one of these is worth a lot. Now, this is not going to be on my anvil. This is not going to be on my fully upgraded ship, but on my anvil, the final upgrades actually started costing upwards of 300 million. Not 300,000, 300 million per slot. Now, that is a lot. But on this one, because it's not really upgraded that much, they're only 25 million. You might be like, but I have an Indian farm. That's fine. Sure, but this adds up. This is for one upgrade. The next one is going to be 35, for example, or 50. Why not just get them for 500,000? Because more or less you will lose around half to 1 million from each sale. So, do keep that in mind. Now, this does work with C-class as well, but there really isn't much of a point in C-classes. Like, there is far less of a chance that they will give you a storage augmentation. So you are basically going to be using up money on a gamble. While the S-class ones I've discovered have almost a 100% chance to actually give you a storage augmentation. Like this one, for example, this one is exactly 5 million. So let's buy it. And let's split. So we're going to make back roughly around 4.5 million. And you aren't making that in credits. You're making that in items. So you have to actually sell the item at 3.5. So we're losing 1.5 million. That's fine. That's fine by me. For one storage augmentation, that is cheap. And again, consider up to 12. We were at 10, now we're at 12. I'm going to do this one last time because there's one more ship here just to really prove a point. And again, this to me is the easiest way to get Nanite clusters, at least personally, 7.3 million. Let's just straight up buy it, and we're going to sell this stuff now. Again, to me, personally, this is the easiest way. If you're playing modded, this is probably the easiest way. Now, if you're playing normal, you're going to have to experiment a little bit. I'm not going to lie. You're definitely going to have to experiment a little bit. But it'll probably be, and 14. It'll probably be the easiest way to make nanite clusters, and at the same time, there's even more here now. At the same time, you will actually be making a lot of storage augmentations, which you can give away to people, or again to your friends, or you could just use them yourself. Like I'm planning on using a lot of these, for example, on my Viper. For now, though, I do hope you enjoyed this episode. It did take a kind of a while to actually record and edit. So thank you all for watching, and I do hope to see you all in the next one. By the way, something that happened just as I finished the episode, I was about to sell whatever modules I didn't need, and all of a sudden this pulse engine module goes for like 2,258. Thumbs up. I'll see you all in the next one.